Do you ever think about how weird of a player Kawhi Leonard is? Hey. So he started out in San Antonio. He didn't have very high expectations until he ballooned out of nowhere and won Finals MVP. He then went on to get 2 more All-Star appearances for the Spurs. In 2018, he then suffers a quad injury, which is no big deal, right? No, wrong. Despite being publicly called out by his teammates and by Greg Popovich, Kawhi still refused to play for that season. It was even reported that Tony Parker had a similar, or even worse, injury than Kawhi, and yet Leonard still did not show up for these games. So the big theory, at least, is that this may have been just for Kawhi to force his way out of San Antonio, wanting to play in a team with a much bigger market. That's fair enough, I guess. Not really, but okay. But the guy who complains about San Antonio being a small market is the guy with the Twitter account who has made 4 total tweets and hasn't posted since 2015. And the guy literally doesn't have an Instagram account. Kawhi Leonard is going to disappear off the face of the earth when he retires, yet he says he wants to go to a bigger market. Okay, and what is this new, bigger market he wants outside of San Antonio? That is the Toronto Raptors. Not exactly a big basketball market. So he forced his way out of San Antonio, had an injury take him out for a year, doesn't know what social media is, but he wants to go to a big market, and he gets traded from San Antonio, and do you know what he then goes on to do?
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series! Toronto has won!
There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
So after all that controversy, after all those questions surrounding them, he leads the Raptors to being one of the most dominant NBA teams and defeating the Golden State Warriors in the 2019 NBA Finals, effectively putting an end to their dynasty. This puts him on pace to be one of the best players in the league and one of the best Raptors of all time. So what does he do to celebrate? He decides to leave the Raptors, and he heads to California. Kawhi goes on to play for one of the NBA's most iconic franchises, in an iconic stadium, where everyone knows, and it seems like nearly every NBA legend has played before. To finally reach his aspiration of a big market, Kawhi Leonard signs with the Clippers? Wait, what? Yeah, so to move into a big market team, Kawhi Leonard joins the Clippers. You know, that team that I'm pretty sure even hardcore NBA fans still forget that they play in the Staples Center. So he teams up with Paul George and the Clippers, and they're quote-unquote dogs, and they instantly become title contenders. So how does that work out?
George, way off. It's the side of the backboard.
Yeah, so they make the semifinals against the Nuggets, they blow a 3-1 lead, and then get blown out in Game 7. Okay, so that isn't exactly a good look for Kawhi Leonard either. And then this season, what have the Clippers done? Well, they purposely lost games towards the end of the regular season, hoping to play against a lower seed. They then nearly lost to Luka Doncic, almost single-handedly. Then they make another 0-2 comeback against the Jazz. Kawhi gets injured in this Jazz series. Then the Clippers somehow get even better. Playoff P actually shows up in the playoffs, and now the Clippers were just down 0-2 and just beat the Phoenix Suns, all while Kawhi is sitting out with an injury. And speaking of Kawhi's injury, Kawhi did take a pretty bad looking injury, and I think it was Game 4 against the Utah Jazz. Most people fearing it was an ACL tear. And you know how we are usually pretty quick to figure out a player's injury? Yeah, not here. After everyone speculating for almost 2 or 3 days that Kawhi Leonard has an ACL tear, they come out and say that it was just a knee sprain. And now Kawhi Leonard has just been sitting on the bench and is just out indefinitely, which is also kind of weird for a knee sprain. So now with Kawhi, we have no clue what's going on. Is he going to come back as a robot, drop 60 points, and lead the Clippers to winning the championship? Is he going to go find a new big market and join the Memphis Grizzlies? Or is he just going to chill on the sidelines for a while and go join the Warriors or something like that? I don't really know the answer to all these questions, but the one thing that I do know for a fact is that Kawhi Leonard is one of the weirdest players and one of the most unpredictable dudes in NBA history. And I have no clue what to expect from him in this upcoming offseason.